Hello.
Welcome, right on time at 7:40. Perfect.
Perfect.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining. Today, this time for our presentation, we have Deakin University. We have current second year student, Bree Nickel, chatting all about the Deakin Med School and her experience. So I will let you take it away. If you do have any questions, feel free to pop them in the chat and we'll get to them.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So hi, everyone. Yeah, my name's Bree. I'm a second year medical student here at Deakin. I guess to start off, maybe why I chose Deakin. So like probably many of you, I unfortunately did not get into any medical schools in Canada, so I decided to look elsewhere. I had visited Australia before one of my friends had moved down, and I had come and visited her, and I was like, wow, Australia, she's pretty nice. So I started looking for some schools, connected with OzTREKK. I ended up applying to 6 schools, and then I got interviewed for 5 of them, and then I got accepted to all 5, so I had to pick. In terms of Deakin, why I chose Deakin, there was a few reasons. One of them, I really liked that it was a bit of a smaller cohort. It's only about 140 to 150 students, depending on the year. So I really liked that we were kind of more focused on, we weren't just a number, we were an actual person. And then if you do choose Deakin or decide to come in any way, they definitely like value their students and they really want to get to know us each and just like talk with us like we're their peers. And I really liked that. So there wasn't really a imbalance where, our lecturers think that they're, high and mighty and up top. They really see us as their equals and they learn from us and we learn from them. And I really liked that vibe. Additionally, I liked how the program was set up. I liked that we're kind of in 4 blocks continuously through the year. So you can really get that good integration of public health medicine with ethics, law, and professionalism, and then along with the med specific blocks that you're doing. In first year, you don't maybe notice it as much, but in second year, you really understand kind of the foundations of things and why things work the way they do, and you actually are starting to pull a lot more of those connections together. So in your first year, it's a bit hard to see it in the beginning, but by your second year, where I am now, I'm like, oh yeah, because of this, and that's really helpful. I just also liked the community vibe that Deakin had. So for me, and likely many of you, will be moving to a place that you don't have any family or friends necessarily. So I just really liked that your people, your staff really could be your family, and they're your friends and they're people that you can lean on. I know like obviously this year was so crazy and there was definitely people that I reached out to because I was like, oh my gosh, I don't have anyone, I don't know what to do. And everyone's just so helpful and willing to be there for you. So I really, really loved the family vibe. In terms of like my cohort, even though we were separated for a year, we are all still such good friends. We just like, we love each other. We love seeing each other any chance we can get. And that's what I really loved about specifically like how Deakin kind of had their program set up, was just like, no competition. We all want to see each other succeed. We all want to lift each other up. Like we're always like, oh, we're surviving, not thriving. Like we're killing this. We're going to do fine. So I really liked that aspect. And Deakin really stresses that like life work balance. So you're a med student, but you're also a human being, and they want you to do that and pursue those options as well, which I really, really appreciated, because I think sometimes as students, we need that kind of kick in the pants. I see that we have a question. Is that right?
Yeah.
So my undergrad degree. Folks, I am a bit of a weird student. So my undergrad is actually in environmental science. I originally wanted to do environmental consulting work. And so that obviously requires, for me, I was living in Alberta. So that was a lot of like tail sands remediation and cleaning up old oil sites. In my third year of university, I took a course about health and the environment, and I instantly was like, oh my goodness, this is what I need to be doing. I loved the environment, but I really loved like the biology of the environment and more the living. And I felt like people would help the environment if they felt like it affected them. So I kind of took a bit of a detour. I wrote my MCAT 3 times. I did fine. I did good, just not good enough for Canada, apparently. And then so I actually worked as a consultant for a bit, which I really enjoyed. I worked at a spin studio for a bit, also loved that. And then I ended up here. So I have a bit of a weird way getting here, but it was definitely fun, and I'm happy to have done what I've done. So, yeah.
And I love that we sort of say you had a little bit of a roundabout way of getting here, but you're definitely not the only one, because one of the great things about our program is not having prerequisites. So we've got students from all sorts of academic backgrounds, all sorts of professional backgrounds, which is amazing. And everyone really brings sort of something from that. So, Bree has this absolutely phenomenal understanding of how the environment does impact our health. But then, others we've had lawyers in the program, we've had engineers, we've had people that have done clinical backgrounds. Our Ducks of Medicine, our highest scoring student a few years back, was a concert cellist before they came to us. So really diverse backgrounds, which is amazing. And I think one of those things that make Deakin that little bit of a different medical school as well. Oh, looks like Sarah's been on top of the question about the applications. Fantastic, thank you. It is a little bit of a different process this year, so thank you for bearing with us while we figured out all the details around that. So
yeah, if you have any questions, if you're not in contact with Amanda already from OzTREKK, obviously we work directly with Deakin, so we'll get all of the information as soon as they have it, and we'll let all of our students that either have applications open or have kind of interested in opening applications, let them all know all the deadlines and everything when they come up.
And Amanda and Charlene know so much about our program, and if they don't know it, they're usually like sending me an email saying, hey, can you help? So yeah, we've got a great relationship with the crew at OzTREKK, which is fantastic for sort of getting all that information out to everyone, which is awesome. We have another question. Do you know what you're thinking of specializing in, Bree? And are you planning to return to Canada or stay in Australia?
Okay, it's $1 million question. The answer is I still don't know what I want to specialize in. I think you should go in with a really open mind, because I honestly thought I was going to love respiratory because it's very tied with the environment, and I hated it. So that really shows you that you really got to like see it, try it, be open to it. I'm pretty sure I don't want surgery, just because I don't know if you can tell, I probably like to talk a little too much. So I think surgery just wouldn't be a good match for my personality. In terms of coming to Canada, going back to Canada, I will for sure stay here for my internship. I really like it here. I, at this stage, don't really want to leave. I don't know what that's going to look like, in 3 years down the road. If you ask my parents, though, I am only staying for the 5 years, and then I'm gone. I'm back home. So I'm trying to stay really open, because I think you have to. And I think this last year has really taught us that too. I had a plan coming into this. It did not go to plan, which is, fine in itself. But yeah, just be really open to those things. And then I see, so getting my CV. So in terms of my CV, I've been doing a lot of student-run societies. So I'm part of Medusa. I was doing some peer mentoring. I'm also in a Med Mentors group that's just gone like nationwide, which has been really cool. So I'm kind of building, yeah, I know, so exciting. Kind of building my CV in that regard. I know some students do work and continue to work, and that has been a great thing for them. I hoped to get more shadowing in. Unfortunately, we haven't had a lot of exposure just given COVID and stuff. And even for this year, we only get one clinical placement so far. That'll be in a GP clinic, which everyone who's done it has said it's amazing, and we're so excited. But my perspective is like, I have my entire life to be exposed to a hospital and a clinical environment. And so as much as I want to be doing that, and it's so fun and it makes you feel like you're doctoring and you're doing the thing, we have our entire lives to do this. So, why not hold back a little bit, enjoy the ride, enjoy that you get to be with friends and make new friends and surf and walk on the beach and whatever it is that gives you joy. Because we will all get to that point in life where we're only going to be in a hospital, or we're only going to be in a clinic, and we're going to wish for the days that we were, sitting studying at my desk or something.
Yeah. And I think the other thing with that is you're going to be based in our clinical schools in years 3 and 4 of your degree. So you do have basically 100% clinical exposure in those years. And, you know, before COVID, we did have a lot more clinical opportunities in your first 2 years. And we are hoping to get back to that. It's just they're still a little bit limited at the moment while we have restrictions around our hospitals and things. So be coming back. I might just jump in with the question about how difficult is it to get an internship in Australia? But yes, it can be difficult to get a match as an international student. As an international student or an international graduate, you wouldn't be guaranteed an intern place. Different states have different policies around that. In Victoria, our international medical students are quite well placed because they are considered in one of the earlier match rounds. So it goes domestic students that were taught in Victoria, international students that were taught in Victoria, and then everyone else. Whereas some other states, it's all of the domestic students, no matter where they studied from, and then international students are considered last. That said, none of our Deakin international graduates have missed out on an internship if they've wanted to do an internship. We've had one person who decided they wanted to do a PhD. We're not going to hold that against them. But everyone else has decided, everyone else that's come through our program has received an intern place if they've applied for it. So we're hoping to keep that up, and we try to support you as much as we can to keep that going, because it's great for us to train fantastic doctors, but we want to make sure you actually get to be doctors at the end of it. So
exactly. I see about my GPA and MCAT. So like I did well. In terms of my MCAT, I scored a 509, GPA on a 4.0 scale, I got 3.8. So like I was doing all right. But don't focus on that. And I think that's my biggest thing. And something that I loved about Deakin was like, it's a hurdle, you put it in, but at the end of the day, they get to know you, they want to know you. And for me, I think that's what really made it stand out too, was that they cared about who you were as a person. These are tests, I understand that they have to be done, but that day, you never know what was going on in that day. And it's one test for your entire future. And I just feel like that's not the best way to approach it. And I feel like Deakin is really good at trying to get to know you. And they do seem to interview quite a large breadth of people to kind of get our 15 cohort. So, it's competitive. Every place is obviously competitive, but I think if you can bring who you are to your interview, that's going to be heaps better than, I scored a 4.0 and I got a 530. So don't focus too much on that. I know it's really hard. We're all very numbers based, but just definitely try to pull that back and just try to be your best version of you when you go into that.
So true. And GPA and MCAT are worth 25% of your ranking each, and the interview's worth 50%. So we really want to get to know all about you. So we spend 50 minutes with all of our candidates. So asking questions about what have you done in the past, and what are your passions, and what type of learning styles do you have, and tell me a time when you had brilliant success. And although I don't actually remember what any of the questions we gave you were free. I think we spent half the time talking about your environmental science degree.
Yeah, we did that. And I have this picture behind me, and everyone just was like, what is this photo? And it was an elephant had painted a picture. Yeah. And so we talked about my love of elephants for half an hour.
Yeah, it was a very productive interview, and we got a fantastic student out of it, and a great human being, which is fabulous. But I think one of the other things about it is we really do want to get to know who you are, and that's really important for us. We can teach you all of those things about, the skills you need to be a doctor, but we can't teach you how to be a good human being. And really, we want our Deakin doctors to be good, passionate, compassionate people. And I think to give you an idea of numbers, we have those 15 places, and last year we interviewed over 170 people for them. So that we are really focused on making sure that we get the people that are the right fit for our program. So as Bree said, it's not all about the numbers. It's easy to focus on them, but there's more to medicine than just a couple of tests. I think we answered all the questions.
There's one about class sizes in first versus second year cohort overall.
Time for maybe one more question.
So the class sizes, it's 140 students per year, or 145 students per year. So that's 130 domestic students and 15 international students. That's pretty consistent. We've had a couple of cohorts that are maybe 150, so an extra 5 students, but we try to keep them around that 140, 145 size. And then we break you up into smaller groups as well. So for your problem-based learning, you're in a group of 8 to 10 people. For team-based learning, you're in a team of 5 people. And then we also have sort of smaller seminars and practical classes as well. So we've got pretty good ratios for staff to students or tutors to students, just to make sure that we get to know you all and no one falls through the cracks, which we really don't want to happen. So it's really hard to hide in our cohort when we sort of know everyone on a first name basis. So.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining. Definitely lots of awesome advice and lots of awesome information. So thank you so much. If you do have any more questions for Deakin, feel free to head back to the Career Co chat room. We got about an hour left of the virtual fair, so I hope you enjoy the rest of your time. And thank you so much again to Bree for joining and chatting all about your experience.
No worries. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for having us.